Well, hello everybody, and welcome. It is finally time for us to get into our first American Dota game of the day. This is the Star Ladder I-League Star Series Season 3 matchup right now. We're getting into what I believe is Day 2 of American Qualifier action. I am Dakota Cox. You may know me as Cuddle Guy, and I am elated because we got a special treat for you. I'm going to be joined up once again with my good buddy Mott, who's joining me remotely. That's right, Model Guy's back in town for you dozens and dozens of Model Guy fans out there. What's up, Mott? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me once again. It's always good to be casting American Dota. I'm so excited for this particular matchup. And on top of that, it's a beautiful day here in the greater Denver area. That's right. I'm here at Moonduck Studios, Moonduck headquarters, and I'm ready to cast some American Dota with you, my friend.
Moon suck. Am I right?
Memes.
Anyways, it's great to have you. I'm super excited about this. Going back to our roots of casting just some good old American Dota, especially, being able to recognize and see some maybe upcoming potential for these Tier 2 and Tier 3 teams, such as Doo Wop. Super exciting stuff. I know the draft is already underway, but, I'll try my best to give a bit of a recap on where we have gone already here in the American Qualifier. You may already know we have great teams participating like Complexity, Digital Chaos, Infamous, Team NP, Onyx, Doo Wop, Freedom, and, well, Dialcom. Maybe. Earlier today, they did kind of disband. We don't know if there's going to be a team there or not. We'll find out in the future, but it's just kind of awkward for now. But it's only day 2, Mott, and the only team really kind of running out with a good head start is Team NP. They had one draw series yesterday against Digital Chaos, and then they did have a 2-0 against what was Dalcom at the time. So they're the only somewhat good-looking team right now, but DC has these 2 series, or...
Actually, Doo Wop is sitting at, they've won 2 series. They have 6 points currently. They 2-0'd Infamous, which is actually pretty surprising to me because Infamous is still a good team. You still have Kotaro Hayama and some good players on that squad.
Oh, yeah.
They also 2-0'd, well, obviously they get a 2-0 walkover win against Dalcom, as does everybody in the entire tournament, at least for now, unless we see something different happen. But I'm excited to see how Doo Wop does. We talked about this a bit before the game actually started. BO2, of course, didn't really get a good shot in the original DC roster. I think he didn't have much time to prove himself, I believe. He was still getting used to the role. Yeah. Didn't do that well in the time that he was on DC, but now he's captaining up this squad, going to be the picker for Doo Wop. There's a lot of good players here. You have, obviously, BO2, UR, WFO is actually Clairvoyance, and we know how much he knows about Dota, one of the best casters currently in America. You also have 747, a solid player, and then, of course, my friend, it's hashtag the king. He has returned. He is back. Snake King rises again.
What a serious ragtag group right here. These guys have all seen, like, a lot of them have, LAN experience. We know 747 from playing on Archon a bit when he played at ESL New York. Snake King, I mean, he had been on, every other team, it feels like. Dignitas. I kept in my mind saying Digital Chaos. I'm like, that's not the team. Dignitas.
Pot and bottom if you really want to go back.
Yeah. Like he's been in the scene for a long time. And Yawar, brother of Sumail, of course. Very, very talented guys. Still looking to break themselves into being like considered at least even a tier 1.5 kind of a team, which is like where I would put like Complexity right now in that like 1.5 kind of spot, and then all these other teams like your Infamous, like your Onyx, Doo Wop, Freedom, they're battling it out from being a tier 3 and trying to get into that same level right now, and this is their chance, man. This is their chance.
Yeah, I would say most of the teams in this tournament are tier 2 with the exception of NP and DC, like you said. Complexity more like a 1.5 team. Dialcom is the only team I would say is probably around tier 2.5 to tier 3, and well, they're not here any longer, so it doesn't really matter. But talking about the draft a little bit, this is some interesting stuff. I mean, it's not super interesting. I think the start is exactly as we expected. There's an Underlord band, very strong hero. Slardar band. It's usually one or the other, Slardar or Shadow Demon, and Doo Wop decided to take Slardar, ban out the Shadow Demon, which will give Digital Chaos a strong start. You want to get that big support. I was talking to Trent about this. Usually when teams get that second pick, you want to have a very strong support to start things off.
Yeah.
Maybe another core alongside that, and they have the Sand King picked up as well. And we'll see where they decide to land that, probably for Moon Meander. Disruptor picked up for Doo Wop, which is an interesting choice in my opinion. I'm excited to see if this hero is still as top tier as it was going into 7.01. I know we've had a couple of games. We've had a couple of tournaments with Genting as well as Dota Pit, but I'm excited to see where Doo Wop decides how they decide to lane this up and how well this Disruptor is played for Doo Wop. as
Yeah.
we get into the second ban phase.
Disruptor is, has always been like a staple as far as being a support, but has always tend to fall in that situational kind of grab, especially when you're going against like the Wisps and anyone you kind of want to crowd control a bit, maybe like Ember Spirit. Maybe he's there right now as, I was going to say preventative Ember Spirit pick, but he was already banned. So,
Right.
it could just be a specialty here. I mean, for how long we're watching teams like Fire where they had like Whitebeard and all he would play is Disruptor too. It's like maybe it's a comfort pick. This is on Doo Wop right now, but maybe it's something. It's a Biru special, let's say. But obviously, second phase of bans come out. No risk of being cheesed over by that ridiculous Weehaw Meepo. So that's got to go. And then the Pudge.
You know what I'm thinking about cheese-wise? Not necessarily. I don't know if DC's going to pick this, but Doo Wop have been banning Viper a lot recently. Which, by the way, don't get me wrong. I would love to see a Viper pick. I'm a Viper picker through and through.
Yes,
there are
you
a few
are.
others of you out there. I know I'm one of that's disgusting. I'm sure you hate it. Dakota, you're probably not a big fan, but they have been banning Viper on Doo Wop side, so they might think that it is strong.
Yeah.
Other bans that they've been banning out, they've either been picking Invoker or banning it pretty solidly. They do ban out the Meepo, of course, against Digital Chaos. No need to talk about it there. It's a very common pick for DC, very strong for them. DC, however, go for the Chen, which I find a bit interesting. We'll see if they go for more push-oriented timing. With Sand King and Rubik, I think it's more team fight heavy right now, but we'll see. I mean, this is a team in the past. If you look at their past 30 games, DC usually gets their first tower about the 10 to 11 minute mark, and on average, of course, that does include the previous patches, but still, pretty early patch pushing time, I think. But we'll see if they decide to go even faster with this Chen pickup.
Probably inspired a bit from Dota Pit. We saw Evil Geniuses, who ended up going on to win the whole tournament, flex their Chen quite a bit. We always known EG to not really be a big Chen team, even when PBD was on it. Yes, PBD did play Chen a couple of times, but this wasn't like, what used to be the Ake/Puppy Chen kind of teams, or,
right.
As of recent, like Lil is a strong Chen player. We never knew EG like that, but, obviously people are going to have a new perspective on them after Dota Pit. And one thing we could see here from Digital Case that we saw them in one of those games is going for like the Clinks recently and utilizing his new sexy dark pack with Chen being kind of on the team and available to him. I'd be curious if DC are going to, start using what they had experienced at Dota Pit a bit here and now. And then kind of going back to the talk of Viper and them on Doo Wop banning Viper a lot, I feel like that says that they care a lot about, obviously, Yuar's mid lane. They don't want him to get like shut down by anything like a Viper or an OD, I'm sure, or anything like that could just, put him into like the tilt zone, if you will.
I mean, that's definitely a possibility. I mean, Yuar obviously draws a lot of comparisons from his brother, unfairly so. I think Yuar is a great player in his own right, but it does seem like if he gets behind, I can't. It's been a while since I've watched Yuar, but it feels like if he does get behind, it can kind of affect him in the late game, maybe get him a bit tilted. But still, I'm excited to see what they pick up. They go for the Luna for Digital Chaos. Are you sick of seeing this hero yet, Dakota? Because I feel like it's been picked for at least a couple months now.
Yeah, Luna is. She didn't really get a whole lot of hate from the big patch as it rolled on forward, and teams were still picking it up. At that point, it kind of feels like, well, teams are going to go with what was their comfort picks. You're not going to just abandon everything you had been boot camping or scrimming or drilling in these in these games. Just the second a patch rolls around, you're not going to just abandon some of these heroes. But I guess Luna has been able to showcase that she still can kind of do it all. She's great farming, great late game, great team fight. It just doesn't feel like there's a strong enough reason to not pick her for a lot of these teams. I mean, yeah, I agree. It doesn't feel like the most exciting thing. Sometimes we'll see a big Eclipse play, but, whatever. It's a Luna, and for DC, they feel like it's going to get the job done. I was anticipating possibly the Clinks, but maybe they've been deterred quite a bit with some of these picks coming out from Doo Wop.
I think in this patch and in 7.0 in general, I think the pushing has been a bit more difficult than we've seen in the past, just mainly due to shrines and the high ground and things of that nature. And I think having a Luna alongside a Chen will help that fact. The Weaver will come out from Doo Wop, though. One of the stronger heroes, obviously. We'll see how they decide to play it. We've seen a lot of support Weavers come out recently, a lot of different position Weavers coming out. I think even DCF played a support Weaver recently with Misery, I believe. But it's an interesting choice for sure.
What's
gives them
funny
a lot of mobility with Weaver and Darkseer.
Is obviously we're not for certain yet if this is going to be that 4 position roaming around Weaver or not, but they already have the Darkseer. It's surprising to see them skip on something like the Earth Spirit, unless they don't have like an Earth Spirit player. We know Earth Spirit to be great in that 4 position roaming about, lots of success all the way up and through Dota Pit, so it's not like the hero is out of trend or fashion. And they already have a Darkseer on a team to kind of just give them that extra ridiculous kind of impact. But maybe they just don't have a strong Earth Spirit player, or maybe
Well,
they
they
feel more
have played
comfortable with
Earth
the
Spirit
Weaver.
in the past.
Hmm.
They BO2 has actually played the Earth Spirit, and he's done a fairly good job of it. He had 27 assists in a game against Freedom.
Whoa.
I think a couple of days ago for KDH or KOD, excuse me. So, I mean, yeah, he had 13 deaths also, but still, I mean,
I mean,
that's still pretty good.
The premise of your hero, for the most part, at least for a lot of the game, is like rolling boulder yourself in there to get up a big magnetize, and magnetize AOE is really nothing. You have to be like sitting on their lap to get magnetized pretty good, and you're gonna probably find yourself in the death zone. But you are leading in there with your stun, with all your utility, your silence. Like, you've done your job, so you might find a lot of Earth Spirit players tend to have lots of kills. At least that's my excuse when I play them. So, yeah. Last bans do come out
Yeah,
from
you
Doo
can,
Wop.
yes, sir.
Doo Wop, they're going to get rid of the Lesh, and on the side of DC, getting rid of the Invoker pickup here. Interestingly enough, I don't know how much Yawar Invoker I have personally seen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's within his realm of capability. TA, though, we know Sumail to be like one of the best TAs in the game. I'm excited to see his brother
I feel like
go
I've
at it.
seen Yawar play TA before, but
Yeah.
it's been a while. They haven't picked it any. They've
Man.
banned it a lot, but they haven't picked it any time recently that I
They're
can
doing
see.
like what we saw a lot from IG and just his training right now. The armor, man. Look at all this ridiculous armor mitigation that's going to be happening on Doo Wop, or maybe not mitigation, but manipulation, if you will.
Oh,
The
I forgot.
amp damage. Weaver's going to get a Blightstone at some point, I'm sure. TA, man.
I got this wrong. I think it's Yawar playing the safe lane hero. Then I think it's going to be 747 playing the TA in the mid lane. Maybe picking up an early death, so going Treads, Blink Dagger.
You're
I think
right.
maybe Treads Blink is pretty common for him. That was the last thing he picked up in the last game they played, which was about a week ago or something along those lines. 2 weeks ago. Speaking of lane dominating heroes, though, as you talked about banning out that Viper, thinking about banning out that Viper for Doo Wop, they go for the OD on Digital Chaos' side, which is just still another strong hero to pick up. Interesting matchup, TA versus OD. I don't know. What do you feel about this matchup, Dakota?
Well, it's, Weehaw OD. To be honest with you, we don't get to see Weehaw OD a tremendous amount, but it's an OD at the end of the day. I'm sure he's going to know what to do with it. It's definitely going to be a lane to keep our eyes on. I would suspect that he is going to be getting a lot of assistance from the Chen, but you could say the same here, especially if this Weaver is going to be roaming about. So, and I know both of these teams care a lot about their mid lane. I would imagine that Doo Wop even care more. So I'm curious to see if they're going to go like full rush in on Wii and try to like mess with them in the mid lane a bit, or what. It's going to be a doozy of a game, man. This is the best of two. Remember, guys, this is a group stage here at Star Series. You get a point for a win. Teams looking to walk away with a 2-0, of course, would give them the 2 points and push them towards the top to get them into the playoffs. And only one team at the end of the playoffs is going to be invited to go out to Shanghai to compete at the Star Series LAN. And a lot of money, Mont. $300,000 prize pool.
It is a big purse.
It's a big one.
Let me tell you, these teams are taking this seriously. Even if Doo Wop is considered maybe a tier below that of DC, they're still on the top of the leaderboards, the top of the standings. They've still got 6 points. They're 2-0. Obviously, they did get that walkover win against Alcom. DC are still, they did 1-1 NP, which I think is a great result for both teams if they're both evenly matched. Even though DC just won in Genting, I think DC needs to push the pace here early, get up to a 1-0 lead, and I think they have the draft to do so. Doo Wop, however, is going to go ahead and smoke up. I don't know if that ward was placed before they did smoke. I think it was, and so it looks like Doo Wop are not going to find anything. And look at where Resolution is sitting underneath this tier tower. He's not going out any further than this tier 2 tower, almost certainly.
Yep, and obviously they have the right idea. Yeah, Misery went out there super early to get that ward down. Don't see that very often. And look, it just already got them so much information that they're not going to have to worry about this early game threat at all. Reading the exact movements here of Doo Wop, so it's going to be awkward for them to kind of step all the way back. They'll still be able to secure that one rune here, but they're not going to be able to get that initial leverage in hopes of trying to catch out a Luna a bit out of position and lead in with an early first blood. That will be not happening today, sir.
It is going to be a support slaughter for BO2. He is going to try to take the rune. He will be successful in doing so. So it's going to be 2 runes each. BO2 will grab one. We'll have 747 socks, and Weehaw grab the other. Now BO2 is just chasing after Misery. They tag each other a little bit. Nothing really going on. BO2 is going to be in this lane, however, with snaking for the time being. We'll see if he rotates elsewhere. Again, this ward, though, placed up at the Uber Cliff towards this tier 1 tower in the bottom lane, is going to really spot things out here. Another aggressive play coming out this time from Clairvoyance. He's got a ward. I don't know if he was spotted by the Radiant Observer ward walking down. into the river. But he will place the ward in an interesting location. It doesn't give him the high ground vision that maybe he's looking for, but it does give the vision of the rune. So
yeah, I wanted to see him walk away to see exactly what kind of vision that does give us. It's intriguing, but that's clairvoyance for you. He's a very smart man, a man with a lot of ideas. But he'll look to head back up and over here, and because as of right now, Yawar's happy to kind of trade with Moon. He's not threatened at all. Oh, bottom lane here, Resolution getting attacked and dove through the tower. The Crush is going to be able to connect. The Ion Shell burning quite a bit, but Saksa has been able to rotate in and gets the lift and fends him off.
It's a good TP, but I don't know if they would have been able to dive and get that kill regardless. Level 1 Crush, level 1 Ion Shell. I think Resolution probably would have been fine with the creeps being there as well. Now rotating over is Misery. Creep camps are not blocked. He does have a Hellbear Smasher. He's already used the Thunderclap once. I think it might have hit Beard. He's going for Snaking. He does have his Surge. It's level 1.
Oh boy.
See if he can get this kill.
Saksa is going to be able to get the lift, the pullback. He's in trouble. Tries to surge within the trees, but the auto attacks are already going out. It's going to be a Resolution who picks it up. Biru gets off the Crush, but he's got to get the hell out of there. Goes for the TP, makes it away. Barely back into the fountain. My goodness.
Oh, he had maybe 50 HP at most. That was close. They could have gotten themselves 2 pickups there for DC. Barry's lucky to be alive, but just a great game coming out. I mean, Misery getting involved early. This is what you need to do with the Chen. Sox as well. He's got his lift, but no mana for it. Telekinesis level 1, so is, of course, his Fade Bolt. He does have a Clarity running. And, of course, the creeps not being able to cancel it anymore is fantastic for him. So.
Well, obviously, this is not what Doo Wop we're hoping for here. I mean, leading in with the dual lane for Darkseer, initially taking the aggression approach to Resolution. They were able to force out the rotations from DC, but now they're going to confidently have, you know, the lane in their favor. So I'm curious to see what BO2's next move is going to be. Right now, crossing paths with Misery. That ward may have been spotted by him too. Gets off the Crush, but Sater's coming over to bop him a bit. He's got to be careful. Shockwave. Rubik's coming. And
can he get the lift? He's a little far. He should be fine. The Shrine is also there if he needs it, but
another ward down.
He's going to tango up. I guess this is going, I mean, besides the bottom lane, still 747 is getting some decent last hits. He's about even with the OD mid, and then top lane you do have UR farming pretty well against Moon. Moon sitting at 7 last hits, but we'll see how he fares up in a little while.
Definitely doesn't seem like Moon is being threatened too much to get out of the lane. Clairvoyance has already like spent through all of his mana. He may even head back to the Shrine. I'm not too sure, but for now doesn't really have much to offer as far as aggression in that lane, and we'll have to step all the way off. So Moon is going to be able to kind of do as he pleases in that lane. Overall feeling pretty good for DC at the start of this, as long as the mid lane they're continuing to match up neck and neck. DC got to be feeling pretty good.
I think Claire might have been spotted roaming through. I'm not 100% sure. He might have actually not. He may have been fine, but they were maybe looking to go for a gank here. They have, I think, level 1 glimpse. They do, so not that big range. In fact, he's just got to go Shrine up and then head back to the top lane. Misery has been scouted. So too is Clairvoyance with that Observer Ward. And so there's 2 up top for both teams. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they're going to give some room up to Resolution. And BO2's just going to try to soak experience here. Let's see what he can get.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not going to be an opportunity to kind of roll ahead here. Misery's been able to kind of acquire a new Centaur, but Clairvoyance now is like, I can't even get near this lane. Misery's just only zoning me back. He's going to take that bounty for himself. I mean, this is what you want when you get a Chen. This is what you want.
I mean, if Clairvoyance is just afraid to pull, that's never a good thing. You're afraid to get the lane. I guess the lane position's already fine for UR. He wasn't going to pull anyways, but he really can't go and harass. He can't stop Moon from getting whatever farm he wants. He's still doing rather well. I mean, he's on par with a Darkseer, which is pretty damn good for a Sand King. Misery now looking for 747 or vice versa. Rather, they kind of just walk past each other, say, hey, what's up? And then peace out. And now it looks like 747 will head back home. They do get that ward down, that aggressive ward towards this tier 2 tower in the mid lane.
Yeah.
I think 747 might know this is here, but we'll see.
Yeah, Misery had been snooping around there, so it's safe for them to assume that they may have placed that extra bit of vision here. But they're still kind of left in the dark as Misery just continues to move through the fog up there. Back at bottom, Snay and Beer are side by side once again, just trying to kind of get back into the grind of farm, but still not able to really oppose Resolution in this lane. He's got second of the best CS in the game, only next to the Weaver, but strong denies and maybe a go-ahead here on BO2. There's going to be the lift. The Crush does come out, but after the Fade Bolt, he's the one eating the most of the damage, and they're going to have to get the hell back. Looking for the beam. They got it. Yep.
Yeah. Fury just overextending a little bit, getting caught there. Snaking, walking up, trying to do some damage to Soxa with the Iron Shell. Can't really find anything. This is going pretty well for DC. They don't even really need Misery in some of these fights. Yeah, he'd like to be pushing the pace a bit more, maybe finding more kills. He was trying to, I think, poke a prod up in that top lane, but they can start looking for some pushing pretty soon. He has the Dark Troll Summoner, he has the Centaur Conqueror.
There's a glimpse, top lane, level 2. They can pull Moon back. He goes for the Sandstorm, but they got the dust as Biru rolls forward. There's going to be the glimpse. Crush right after. Pops the wand. He's able to get one last hit in. Could get enough for the takedown of Yawar, and we'll do it. Moon lives on. Man.
Oh my God, he always makes those trades happen somehow. I just, it was maybe a little bit of a mistake from Doo Wop, but they should have had that kill earlier. I think the Swarm, actually missed due to the fact that he was invis. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's what happened though. Like, it didn't actually connect to him. It's not like he missed it. He didn't avoid it. It was right on top of him. So somehow the Swarm actually misses, and that would have helped a lot in terms of getting the kill earlier for Doo Wop.
Mid lane trouble here. Yawar put into the Shadow Realm as the rest of the DC army is going to be rolling on over and crushing him apart. He'll go down, and Clairvoyant shows up but can only offer offense. So this is DC now making their first Tier 1 hurrah. Nearby, Resolution crosses path with Clairvoyance. We don't get to catch most of it, but I think all it took was a simple R press, and that Rubik was done.
Yeah, he popped his Eclipse, and
Disruptor
this is where it gets tough, man. They're going to lose their mid Tier 1 tower, and most of the games that DC play Tier 1 tower, and for most teams, Tier 1 tower mid is usually the tower they want to go for, and with this pushing strategy especially. So they're going to take this Tier 1 town. 747 STP'd in, so too is Biru. Is actually rotated, but they have no way of really fighting this yet. They're not in a position. You need levels, you need experience, especially for somebody like a Darkshire and for a TA. You have pretty good pushing potential. You can even get the Luda coming in with the level 1 Glaives and the level 1 Looter Blessing. So this is just, I mean, it's a great start, and it puts them, if you look at the net worth graph, after that last engagement, it gives them about a 2,000 net worth advantage, almost 3,000 at this point. So they can either sit back and farm a bit more or continue to try to push the pace here.
We'll touch base with His Majesty the King here in the bottom lane. He'd been kind of just hanging down there, grinding away in his farm in the meantime. Still trying to push up to get those first utility items online, but being only just a fresh level 6 to level 7, he's got a journey ahead of him here. Obviously, real unfortunate for Yawar to be taken down in that trade against Moon, but he still has got a grind ahead of him here. It's definitely still concerning here as the bleeding has begun for Doo Wop in their early laning stage, and finding a way to kind of bandage it up. And I don't know how much mid-game potential they're going to have as level 6 has come online. You know, this is a support Biru Slardar.
Well, they're going to try.
And he's trying to get in there and get a crush off, but, you know, I was going to mention, without a Blink Dagger, these kind of engagements are going to be very difficult.
It was a 2 versus 3 for a moment there, but Clairvoyant's taking a lot of damage. Misery's army going to work, can't quite bring him down, doesn't want to overextend. Sox can't get in room for the Fade Bolt. Astro coming out, I think that's just on a creep, but here you will TP home, and they won't be able to find anything for DC, but this does put them in a really bad position in terms of top lane. However, bottom lane, Resolution is left alone. Biru sprinting, looking for some sort of initiation. Resolution very speedy, though, as a Luna, and Moonmander here in the tree line, ready to counter-initiate if need be. We'll see if Doo Wop continue to push this pace down in the bottom lane. Biru caught out, there's the Burrow Strike, Lucid Beam, and the trap is sprung very easily.
It's definitely feeling pretty awkward right now for Doo Wop. It feels like they're itching for a fight, but they just have no real way to kind of start it. And if it's a support Slardar, obviously he's not going to be getting this Blink Dagger anytime soon. And just sprinting and running yourself in there is obviously not really working for them. So DC's able to shrug off these ganks. They're actually ending up getting the better trades, and now they're taking towers on top of it too. Another Tier 1 going to be going down here in the top lane. The rich get richer as DC are beginning to bulk up. That Doo Wop are not going to really have a solid answer for it here.
Yeah, and Yawar can't even farm in his own lane or his own jungle. He was trying to just put some pressure on Moonmander. There is some rotations from Doo Wop towards this top lane, but it looks like there's an early exit coming out from DC, not willing to stay any longer than they need to. That ward might have paid off on the one in that jungle, but I mean, they really need to get back into this side. Doo Wop have to find something. 747 can find some big kills. He's somewhat farmed. He's not that far behind that of the OD. It's just the Luna that is becoming a problem. Staking certainly could use some more experience as well, but there's not much time. I feel like there's going to be some more pushing, some more presence. Moonmander is going to have his potential Blink Dagger coming in. He does have it on his quick buy, so that Blink Dagger is going to be next for him. And we'll see what else there's going to be. What other items are coming out? Misery's going to have his Mexune. That's probably the biggest item for them, having that push potential. The Weehaw has his Dragonlance, which will be a Hurricane Flag shorter, sooner rather than later, excuse me. So there's a lot of stuff that Doo Wop have to deal with, and they're going to have to find a lot of farm here the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, I hate for them to already have to fall back on one of their team's strengths, which is going to be the high ground defense. When you have that Darkseer and, of course, Disruptor, it's great to work in that choke point, but, you know, you don't want to have to be stuck in a position where you're hoping that that's going to be the case to bail you out of this game right now. But here comes another Tier 1 going down, another access point going to be removed from Doo Wop, making things a bit more fresher and freer for DC. Weehaw advancing forward, but feels like he may have been spotted, as there is going to be a quick pull off. Tier 1's theirs, no contention at all. DC thinking about hanging around a bit. Saksa is still hanging under the smoke. Yeah, he's going to get a nice deep ward in. They're going to have all the vision of snaking. He's going to go in looking to go for the lift. He'll get it. Lifts up Snay, pulls him back.
That was awkward.
Yeah, beam and prison at once. Comes back out. He drops the wall frantically, but the damage has been done. And this is going to be another takedown for DC. They're just rolling forward.
And Moon is TP'd back mid. Burrow Strike will only connect onto one UR. Epicenter's going to go. 747 now caught. He has no usage of that refraction. He's going to maybe get some help here with the kinetic field. Might actually stay alive. Might even chase up to Clairvoyance. Sanity's Eclipse. They grab the kill. The Astral does the job. Saksa grabs the lift with Telekinesis, Burrow Strike back, and that's an easy double kill picked up for Weehaw there. It just gets worse and worse for Doo Wop, and it might be even worse now, Dakota, as Biryu's getting chased in this top lane.
Oh God, please don't hit the R button, no! Here comes the Eclipse, and it just blasts him apart. They go crumbling it down. That is a 4-man drop on the side of Doo Wop if you count the lead in with Snake King. 10-1 Mott in this game. DC want to end this one quick and fast. They're not done yet. Mid lane, pull up, pull back. Snake King gonna get thrown in now.
Right in the middle of the surge.
And here comes the army.
The Astral was there.
And
yeah, he's done so.
There goes a rock, there goes a ball, there goes a little bit of everything right there. Team DC in full force in game 1.
I feel like I'm watching an adults-only game or something like that, an 18-plus game. Not for eyes of children. It's not going well for Doo Wop. I hate to say it, maybe it's just they're a bit newer. I mean, obviously you're against a strong team like DC. Maybe it was something to do with the draft. The game is obviously not over yet, but they have to find some farm for 747 especially.
They're going to try to make something happen.
Here. Glimpse, they're going to bring it back. Kinetic Field's there, Static Storm. This might be the opening they're looking for. Hand of God, can they get the set back off? They cannot. They bring him down. That's one big kill. Can they get more? Saksa, he's stolen that Shikuchi. Now they get the lift off Biryu. Dust is up. Fade Bolt goes. They pop the damage. How much more can they find? Here comes Moon, Dakota.
He gets in, and Biryu goes down. Just an easy setup from Resolution. And that might be the end of harassment coming out from Doo Wop here. They promptly pull off. A little low in the mana, a bit bruised up. Snake King returns after getting dropped twice straight, and now the Tier 2s are going to be set to fall. That leads into Shrines, and I guess we're already going to be in that high ground defensive territory here.
They got the kill on Weehaw at least, so there's that, I suppose.
Yeah, a little
you gotta look at the bright side for Doo Wop here, man.
Yeah, a little bit of an economy bump there. Let's see if I can visualize
747. You need to leave, like now.
He got those creeps, but the reward he got from them are going to be quickly taken away. There's a Burrow and an Epi. Saksa's going to Sakuchi all over yourself. And that's it. He goes down. We could see the towel thrown in quickly here, Mod.
I would say so. 13-2. What's the net worth graph looking like? It's 13 minutes of the game, Dakota. It's a 10,000 net worth advantage. I'd say you're probably right about that, but again, you talked about the high ground defense. There is some coming out for Doo Wop, except for the fact that they keep dying outside of the base. As you see Clairvoyance going down now.
Yeah, I've been more focused on the stampede of an army coming down this mid lane instead, because they're not looking back. Right inside they go with the whole little spoopy army of skeletons and satyrs. Tier 3's a drop in.
Yeah,
Claire says, we are done here. Game number 1, we'll put it in the books and we'll start over. You know, obviously DC feels like a pretty well-rounded draft. Doo Wop, you know, when it's time to fight, they just didn't have a whole lot to work with, man. Like, the support Slardar thing, I just feel like sometimes it can bite you in the ass, you know?
Yeah, I think so, and I think part of it too was just the Chen pickup coming out from DC. They weren't really anticipating it. They weren't really expecting it. It was hard for them to deal with. I mean, the Chen didn't really accomplish that much in the early game, but they had so much room even without the Chen being involved. I don't know. They just couldn't get anything done. There was just really solid plays coming out from DC. That early ward too, that ward stopped the smoke from happening. They could have lost Resolution had that ward not been placed by Misery. So just solid early game presence, really good draft from DC. I don't know, man. Doo Wop got outclassed in that first game. I don't know how they're going to come back in game number 2.
Yeah, they got rocked for sure. So we'll see if the Doo Wop kids can shake that one off and come back strong for game number 2. Remember, guys, this is a best-of-2 series, or just a 2-game series here in the group stage of Star Series America Qualifiers. You get 1 point per win. DC looking to walk away from the series with a 2-point advantage, putting them to the top of the group stage. Got to make it into the playoffs. Got to make it to the end to get the invite for the LAN, and DC are looking good. We'll see if Doo Wop, though, can bounce back in game number 2 after we cut to a small break. I am Coddle Guy, that is Mott, and we'll see you soon for game 2 action.